Hello, my name is Kristine Nguyen, and today my presentation will be on social contract. So, for the introduction, I'll state out trust, ethics, and culture/global. For trust, it can only be gained by having knowledge of where the ethical line is drawn. If the ethical line is supposedly crossed or not drawn to the public's liking, then there are issues revolving around mistrust of many companies to make profit off of another through mistreatment, or in other words, stepping on another, is fairly misguided when just thought about alone. However, adding the public's perspective on an unethical line draws in an increased number in negative attention. Business ethicality is the act of not just being honest, fair, and equal in diversity, but also how contract law states that both parties' intents aren't always relevant. Rather, their words used intently are a much better representation about what can be applied. I'll also further discuss ethics in the next slide. As for culture and global, board meetings at times can even get dominated by either culture or ethics, and sometimes they may get intertwined with one another. Since business ethics are not relevantly high enough for the general public, then there is this idea of how various forms can demonstrate culture. The global side adds in culture by asking what is ethical worldwide, as there are times where culture itself may choose to illustrate its own standings in ethicality. Why is the concept of ethics so important, elaborated upon, and relevant to this article? Well, to me, ethics means treating someone correctly, fair. To this article, the use of ethicality is a combination of mistrust and the concept of culture. I also want to put an emphasis on this quote. However, if disbanding the compensation committee and its corrupt practice of working with outside consultants can lead to a decrease, then it's just a kabuki play, or kabuki dance, meaning stage play, in which I'll further elaborate on that it's the act of pretending to be perfect in itself can cause a misleading in the company, because if the company perhaps is not true to itself, then it's just fake or putting up an act for the public, which may create mistrust in the future with their future shareholders. What are the issues and what do they involve? Scandals and such leads to societal mistrust, as negatives tend to demonstrate how business owners are not always weighing what could lead them to fail, and sometimes people generally seem too blinded by the positive outcomes instead of fearing and being a pessimist. At times, too much optimism can lead to hinder performance, as well as vice versa with pessimism. So why should we hold it in? That pent-up emotion that everyone knows so well. But we all know that those pent-up emotions aren't particularly good for us, and the same act goes for an issue that a company may hold back until they can't anymore. And how does negligence play a role? Well, negligence comes with ignoring an issue at hand. That certain issue can be associated with the plaintiff if the defendant were not to carry out their duty of care, so there might be a declared breach. This article, Social Contract, was found through the business database on ProQuest.